Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. 90-Day Fiance. Darcey Silva reunites with Georgi's family after 13 years. The moment brings tears to fans. Darcey Silva's heartfelt reunion with Georgi's family members in 90-Day Fiance left everyone speechless. The couple took a trip out of America to improve their marriage, as they are quite into lifting each other's spirits. A lot of things aren't well between them, but they were given a second chance to resolve issues. To spice up their relationship, Darcey and Georgi relived their honeymoon phase in a hotel room. As she wanted to make out with her husband, she questioned the walls of the room. She felt they were too thin, so soundproofing must be done before they start their romantic, steamy session. She threw herself into the bed to moan out loud while Georgi listened to it from outside. Darcey Silva has lately shown her displeasure with how her breasts made her look more masculine than feminine. She expected her breast augmentation results to be epic. However, it disappointed her that she had recently shared her plan to reduce her bust size. She has no problem going under the knife yet another time for a make-under. Darcey keeps changing her looks, openly sharing the surgeries she has undergone and her recovery journey. The breast implants seem like too much for the reality star since they are heavier for her. She said that she would go a size or two down because, in her opinion, less is more. She would love to revisit Turkey along with Stacy for their procedures together. On Happily Ever After Season 9, Darcey Silva accompanied Georgi in Bulgaria to see his family. The trip became quite shocking for various reasons. The emotional moment brought her husband and his sister together, as they hadn't met in 30 years. During the family dinner, Darcey reacted tearfully because it was her first time. Darcey and Georgi married in 2023, but they couldn't visit his homeland until recently. After he asked her to make a good impression on his family, she considered toning down her look. Her modest dress piqued viewers' interest in a way that might never again. She ditched her tight-fitting dress style, exposing skin and outlandish makeup. Darcey fully respected Georgi's dear ones, but she shocked everyone around her with her sudden bursts of tears. She cried at the dinner table, telling Georgi that she didn't wish to do it. The TLC star couldn't hold back her tears and strong emotions at her first family meetup. "I wear my heart on my sleeve, and they know that now," she stated. It appears that Darcey became overwhelmed with the Bulgarian culture, which turned her vulnerable. At the end of the episode, she promised to reveal more tender moments and a lot of drama in the coming days. More details will be passed on about her husband's family. Though the adventure was a fairy tale for her, the food specifically is from a different culture. It's been more than a decade since Darcey Silva last saw the people who once held such a special place in her life, Georgi Rusev's family in Bulgaria. The emotional reunion, which aired in the latest episode of 90-Day Fiance, wasn't just a storyline. It was a deeply personal moment that pulled at the heartstrings of fans across the globe. For years, Darcey and Georgi's relationship had been a whirlwind of passion, misunderstandings, reconciliations, and heartbreak. Viewers have seen them fall in love, struggle through cultural differences, and part ways more than once. But what many didn't know was that during their earlier days together, Darcey had forged a surprisingly warm bond with Georgi's parents and siblings, a connection that time and distance couldn't erase. Now, 13 years later, fate and reality TV cameras brought them face to face again. The journey back to Bulgaria. The episode began with Darcey boarding her flight to Sofia, Bulgaria, dressed in a chic black travel set and oversized sunglasses. Classic Darcey. Her confessionals were a mix of nervousness and anticipation. "I'm excited, but I'm also scared," she admitted, her voice trembling. "It's been so long. I don't know how they'll feel about me after all this time and everything Georgi and I have been through." Fans already knew this wasn't just a casual visit. This was an emotional gamble. Georgi's family had last seen her when she was younger, more wide-eyed, and still deeply in love with their son. Since then, there had been breakups, public disagreements, and more than a little gossip. Arrival in Sofia. When Darcey stepped into the arrivals hall, Georgi was waiting. There was no awkwardness between them. They hugged warmly, as if the years had melted away. "You ready?" Georgi asked gently. "As ready as I'll ever be," she replied, clutching her small designer handbag like a security blanket. The drive through Sofia's charming streets was filled with a mix of small talk and tense silences. Darcey gazed out the window, taking in the old-world architecture, the bustling markets, and the flashes of traditional Bulgarian life she hadn't experienced in years. The first hug. When they finally pulled up to Georgi's family home, the front door was already open. His mother, Mariana, stood there with tear-filled eyes. The moment Darcey stepped out of the car, Mariana rushed to her. "Oh, Darcey!" she cried in Bulgarian, wrapping her arms tightly around her. The hug was long, full of unspoken forgiveness and shared memories. Darcey, who usually held her emotions close for the cameras, broke down completely. "I missed you so much," she sobbed, holding Mariana's hands. Behind them, Georgi's father, a quieter man with a dignified presence, stepped forward. "Welcome back, Darcey," he said warmly in accented English. It was clear. The years hadn't erased their affection for her. A table full of memories. Inside, the kitchen smelled like freshly baked banitsa and slow-cooked stew. The dining table was laid out with dishes Darcey remembered from her first trip. Shopska salad, grilled kebabs, and steaming bowls of bean soup. "This is just like before," Darcey said, smiling through her tears. Mariana nodded. "Family remembers," she replied. "We always remember." Over lunch, they shared stories. Mariana pulled out old photo albums. Pictures of Darcey and Georgi during their happier days, laughing in the garden, walking hand in hand through Sofia's streets. There were even photos of Darcey helping Mariana in the kitchen, both of them dusted in flour. "I forgot about these," Darcey whispered, running her fingers over the images. Fans watching from home later commented online that this was one of the most genuine, heartfelt moments they'd ever seen on the show. Addressing the past. Of course, number 90-day Fiance moment is complete without a little tension. Georgi's younger sister, Lilia, eventually joined the table. She had always been protective of her brother and didn't shy away from voicing her concerns. "You hurt him before," Lilia said plainly, looking Darcey in the eyes. Darcey nodded, taking the comment in stride. "I know I did, and he hurt me too, but that doesn't change how much I cared about all of you." The honesty seemed to soften Lilia's stance. "Then maybe we start again," she said with a small smile. It was a turning point, a walk down memory lane. Later that afternoon, Georgi took Darcey for a walk through the neighborhood where they had spent so much time years ago. They passed the park bench where they had shared late-night talks, the tiny bakery that had been their breakfast spot, and the old church where Georgi's family had once taken her for a holiday service. "It feels like yesterday," Darcey said quietly. Georgi nodded. Some things never change. But fans could see that other things had changed. There was a maturity in both of them now, a calmness that hadn't been there before. Fans react. As the episode aired, social media exploded with reactions. "I'm crying. This is the Darcey I love, vulnerable and real. Seeing Georgi's mom hug her like that after all these years. I lost it. Say what you want about Darcey, but that reunion was pure." Viewers praised the scene for being raw and unpolished, a rare gem in a show often accused of overproducing drama. The goodbye. As evening fell, it was time for Darcey to say goodbye. She hugged each family member tightly, promising it wouldn't be another 13 years before she returned. Mariana held her face in her hands and whispered something in Bulgarian, a blessing for love, peace, and happiness. Darcey's eyes filled again. "I'll carry that with me," she said. When she climbed into the car beside Georgi, she looked back one last time. The family stood in the doorway, waving, silhouetted against the warm glow of the house lights. A chapter reopened. For fans, this reunion wasn't just about Darcey and Georgi's romantic history. It was about connection, forgiveness, and the way certain bonds survive the test of time. Whether or not Darcey and Georgi find their way back to each other romantically remains to be seen. But one thing was certain. The love between Darcey and his family was still alive, still real, and still strong enough to bring tears to millions. As Darcey summed it up in her final confessional of the episode, "Life changes, love changes, but family stays in your heart forever."